Hey, this is Coach Sandy Nightpaper of Sage Running. Welcome back to my channel, Running Wild. And today I have a topic that I believe is really important. It's really just a piece of advice that I truly believe is a game changer for mental strength, definitely for running, but also it could impact all parts of your life. So the basic piece of advice is throughout the day, especially in difficult situations, stop and ask yourself, what does the best version of myself look like in this situation? Or another way to do it is, what is my highest level of thinking in this situation? And I believe stopping to actually ask yourself those questions can just open up all this knowledge inside of us that we already have, but often only use giving good advice to others, but we never use it on ourselves. And it also can totally change our thinking and the habits behind our thinking. I think, I know, because it's happened to me, that it seems like we're a victim of our thoughts most of the time, and they're not something that we can control because we never try to. But stopping and asking yourself those questions, it gives you control back of your thoughts. Now, it takes time. So if you feel like you're totally controlled by your thoughts right now, this is going to be a long process. And it's something I continuously work on. I still struggle with it, but because I've been practicing it for quite a while now, it's so much easier for me to recognize a negative thinking pattern, stop, and get myself back on track. And it just gets quicker and quicker the more you practice it. And it's really a true game changer. Going back to having our thoughts control us, it's important to recognize that some of our thoughts are just there because we repeated them over and over again. And I think a big one these days is, I am not enough. And that's something a lot of people have picked up when they were young, and then it just, this phrase that you just repeat over and over and over again until it just becomes this habitual thinking. But if you ask yourself, or if you question that phrase or that thought, oh, I am not enough, and you actually step back and analyze it, you might be able to change that form of thinking. So, we'll continue with the I am not enough. So if you stop and think about it, it's like, is that actually true? What are other things I can think of that make this not true? Or what's just a better way of thinking about this? Or how can I make it not true? And just going through that process of stepping back and looking why that thought is there, it gives you the power to change that thought. So at first, it's going to be pretty tough, but eventually, that trigger thought, I am not enough, it's just going to be a reminder that, okay, it's time to think something better. And then eventually, that thought could just not be there, and so you're only thinking something more positive. In terms of running, I think stopping, again, to ask yourself, what is the best version of myself in this situation, or what is my highest level of thinking right now? There's so many ways we can apply that. So, if you're somebody who takes or who gets pretty bad anxiety before a workout or a race, if you ask yourself those questions, you might start thinking things like, I can only control what's happening right now. That workout's, it's a day or a few hours away. I can't control that right now, but I could set myself up for success right now by eating healthy, getting enough sleep, hydrating, all those things. And then I think another way to look at that is, like if you have a bad workout or a bad race, what's the big deal? When you sign up to be a runner and to race, you're for sure gonna fail. If you really set big goals and go after it, like you're eventually gonna fail, and it's probably multiple times. And that's running, and that's part of the process, but we can take what we learn from those bad experiences and apply what we've learned so we can have better races in the future. And then, even if you have a bad race and you can't figure out what you did wrong, there's still probably tons of good things going on in your life that you could think of that just, it makes running not matter as much. And I totally get, like, running is important. Running is pretty much most of my life. I'm a coach, run myself. I love talking about running. I love helping people with their running, but it's not everything I am, and there's so many other things in my life that I'm so grateful to have. And so when I take a step back and look at the big picture, it makes running less stressful and more enjoyable, and keeping that joy there is so important. So what can really be powerful in developing a stronger mindset is practice asking these questions not only to your running but throughout your entire life on a daily basis. So it's great if you apply it to during your runs and everything, but if you can practice asking yourself those questions on all things not running related, your mind's definitely gets stronger for racing and just for running in general, but it's also going to have a huge impact on your entire life, and you're just going to be a happier person overall because you develop the strong mindset. And it's something you're going to have to work on. As I said, I'm still working on it, but it's so worth it, and I truly believe it's a game changer. So if you think this piece of advice could really help you, I encourage you to actually make a plan on how to implement it. For some people, you might just be able to set the intention. But for me, I wrote notes. I had one on my computer that I looked at all the time to remind myself to ask myself these questions, and that helped a lot. So definitely encourage you to do something like that. Maybe tell your friends or family members, hey, I want to try this, and they can keep you on board. So if it's important to you, and if you're serious about developing a stronger mindset, make a plan to apply it. Make a plan just like you would write out a running training plan. So I really hope you take this piece of advice and use it. It has honestly totally changed my mindset. I'm just so much stronger as a person because I've just taken a step back and asked myself these questions, and it just really, I feel like I'm in control of my thoughts again, and that's just so empowering to have that. So if you do this and you try it for a couple months and you feel like it has impacted your life, I would love to know about it. So that's really the key piece of advice for this one. If you have other mental training tips, I'd love to see them in comments below. Help other people in the running community out. And so till next time, keep running wild.